Good morning, Christian Fellowship Church. I want you to know how much I've missed you these past couple of months, and it's just been unprecedented times that we've had to traverse our way through. I have so appreciated the venue of online worship that we've had. It's just been an invaluable resource. And I just want to give a personal thank you to all of those that made that possible. I could not be more proud of how you have shined as a church during these past couple of months, honestly, in every area. You are the greatest church on the planet, and I am humbled and I'm honored to be just a small part of it. I've been telling you these past couple of weeks that the time is getting close for us to reconvene, and I want you to know that that time has come. We could not be more excited about it. We've been meeting and making the best and most conservative plans that we can so we can reconvene in a safe environment that we could have in-person gatherings. We've also been seeking the face of the Lord and awaiting His direction and His peace. That's the most important thing. And we feel that we have received those things as a leadership team. In this letter, I will be laying out a brief 3-week, what I'm calling a phase in, beginning this week at 10 o'clock. And I'll be laying out some recommendations. And honestly, a lot of these have been passed down to us from our governmental leaders. They have not originated from us. We're just trying to do our due diligence to comply with what has been placed in our hands. And I want you to remember, like I've said all along, at least initially, things are going to look differently. And there will be some measures in place that you might feel, what is this, But we want you to know that they are both temporary and they will be progressive. They won't be there very long, and we're going to slowly edge our way back to becoming who we are. And I would even say better than who we were. You've made me so proud as the pastor of this church, and I know that going forward, all of us will seek unity and will give grace to one another. Those two words have just been branded in my spirit. Unity and grace going forward. I know that online church has been an invaluable resource to us all, and I'm very well aware that it will continue to be for such a large segment of our constituency at CFM. Because of this, I want to actually recommend that if you feel uncomfortable in any way being around crowds, especially after all of us having been quarantined the past couple of months, or if you have any type of underlying pre-existing health condition, or if you're age vulnerable, that you continue to utilize online church at Christian Fellowship. We are also asking that if you have had symptoms of any sickness whatsoever in any way, that you stay home in the abundance of caution as to not spread germs in this time. I know it's a tempting thing to get out and just get back, but if you're sick in any way, it would be for the betterment of our church if you stay home until those symptoms are gone and you're completely devoid of any type of sickness. Honestly, guys, let's be real here. It's going to take all of us working together to make this happen. With that being said, I first want to give you our 3-week phase-in plan. Starting this week, this Sunday, just 4 days away. I'm so excited about it. Let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's 4 days away. We are going to be reintroducing our first in-person gathering at CFM by having one brief service at 10 o'clock. I say it will be brief because all that we will be offering at this time in person is a sermon. There will be no worship. There will be no kids ministry of any kind. We will also have the exact same format we have been having as online, at online worship. We'll be recording worship. We'll be recording the sermon, and we'll be doing the exact same thing we have been. And honestly, I want to encourage you this week especially to use that. And we're doing that, reopening our doors in that fashion for a very important reason. One, there are some protocols that we are going to have to be putting in place, and with a very small crowd, with limited seating at this Sunday, it will give us a chance to practice those protocols in a very safe manner. And it will be a brief service, but that's all that we will be offering this week. And we'll be getting together, and we encourage you to worship online this week. But we will be having one service at 10 o'clock in person, sermon only. Week 2, the following Sunday, which will be June 7th, we will be adding back CFM's The Gathering at 3 o'clock. And I'm really excited about that. I've missed my gathering family. I can't wait to see you guys. We'll be having that in addition to the 10 o'clock service. So we'll be back to our 2 services on June the 7th. And we will also be adding worship in both of those services. There will be full worship services. I believe and know, and I know a lot of churches aren't doing worship right now, but it is a deep, abiding conviction in me that as we gather together, extolling the name of Jesus is a very important part of gathering as a community of believers. And we just will not be leaving that out. It's important, and I think that it's something that is a necessity. Actually, it's our eternal created purpose to be eternal worshipers of Jesus. And we will be doing that. As Jesus said when he comes into Jerusalem, if you don't do it, the rocks will cry out in your place. And I want to say, there's no rock that's going to take our place at Christian Fellowship. Week 3, the following week at June 14th, on our 3rd week, we will be adding back children's ministries. Pastor Dale and Pastor Meredith are working diligently, formulating safety measures in place, and be praying for them because they have a unique challenge in front of them. Because you think it's tough to corral adults, you wait until kids get in the mix. But that date will also coincide with children's care opening in the state of Kentucky. So we feel like that's an appropriate time to begin to offer children's care at church. That will be happening on June 14th, and that will be somewhat normal. With that generalized plan in place, there are several protocols and safety measures and recommendations that will be in place that I want to discuss with you. Remember, I said to you, things will look differently at least for a while, but also remember that they're going to be temporary and they won't be there forever. They will be progressive and very rapidly progressive, I believe. As I address these, remember, I'm asking you as your friend, as your pastor, as your brother in the Lord, for a spirit of grace, unity, and cooperation. The first protocol is social distancing guidelines. All of us are familiar with these by now in every avenue of life. We are recommending that all attendees practice safe social distancing guidelines. This includes, but is not limited to, wearing masks, staying 6 feet apart. And honestly, it's going to take all of us working together to make this place the most safest place possible. Though we are seeking to be diligent in our implementation of these uber conservative strategies and guidelines, we want you to know that it's going to take all of us. We're not the police, we're not your medical professional or anything else. And as such, we can't be the enforcer. We are the implementer, and we're asking for your help to help enforce these policies and these guidelines. And I think it's for the betterment of everyone. We're simply asking that everybody choose what is best for the community and not what is best for me personally. I believe as we do that, we fulfill the law of Christ. We prefer our brother. We put other people above ourselves. We understand, I do, completely understand that every single person reconvening is coming at this pandemic from a different perspective and a different opinion. And there will be a lot of different opinions and factors that weigh into people's decision making. And I want to personally ask you, respect each person and understand that not all are going to agree on what is necessary. You know, there will be some that's ready to shake a hand, and hug a neck. And there will be others that are very reserved and don't want to do that. We're asking, don't say that one person's better than the other or one person's right and the other one's being ridiculous. Understand each other and respect each other. That's the heart of Jesus. It's going to take all of us to make this happen. The second protocol that I want to talk about is offering. We affirm, and I genuinely believe Jenny and I practice this. We have the entirety of our marriage, and I have the entirety of my adult life, that giving is a discipline, tithing is a discipline, and it's an obedience in trusting the Lord with our finances. And honestly, I want to thank you as the pastor for your sacrificial giving throughout the entirety of these past couple of months. God has been good to us at CFM. Over the past couple of years, we introduced online giving and text to give. And so many of you have already been utilizing these invaluable resources. We will continue to use those going forward. There will not be an offering plate that passes in front of you. If you are there in person and don't feel comfortable utilizing online giving, there are the boxes out front that hang beside the doors in the foyer, and they will be available for you to drop your tithe and offering in. Or if you want to do what you've continued to do throughout the week, stop in, drop it in the black mailbox out front in the bottom sealed portion. That's also acceptable. Bathroom use. Now, this is kind of an uncomfortable thing to talk about, but to be able to comply with social distancing guidelines, we are asking that only one person at a time use the facilities. If there's somebody in there, just wait in a safe social distancing manner outside the door. And as you do that, we want you to know that we are implementing a regimented disinfecting of those facilities for your safety. This one's uncomfortable, and I know it will weigh in the decision making of some people, but chairs. In an effort to thoroughly disinfect our sanctuary, as a temporary measure, our padded red chairs have been replaced with hard white wedding chairs. We've done this because we feel that having a hard surface, it will make it so much more easy to clean and disinfect and wipe off those surfaces. I understand the hardship that will be for some, and for some with back problems, or maybe some of our older members. But we wanted to let you know in advance that will be there, so it can help you make a more informed decision of what is best for your family. Also, with chairs, we have been given limited capacity. We can't have all the numbers that we had in there before. So, in an effort to maximize space in the building, we are implementing procedures for seating, because that our seating will be limited. A staff member will be assisting you to your seat. We're allowing you to choose who your seating party is. If you can sit in a restaurant with somebody of your choice, you can sit in church with somebody of your choice. But what we're asking you is that you don't come to the door until your entire seating party is there. If you're sitting with your kids or a friend or whoever and they're not there yet, just stay in your car until they get there and walk to the door together, and we will seat you together. Once you are seated, we ask that you stay in your seat and don't change seats, because once you're seated, we're going to create social distancing between your seating party and the next seating party. But you have that right to choose who you sit with at church, and we're placing that in your hands. Just let us know how many will be there, and somebody will be there to help usher you to your seat. Now, we feel that this is a vital thing, so we can maximize the limited space we've been giving. Once that is taken up, we want you to know that we will have overflow rooms that you can worship together. It will be live, but it won't be in the same room. We are having overflow rooms established, and if you get there and the seating is all taken up, we ask that you understand and use that time together. With seating, we ask that nobody come to the church before 9:40, 20 minutes before the service, and at the gathering, nobody before 2:40 on that second week when we start the gathering. That will limit social time together and all of that. I know that we want to get together and I want to just hug everybody in the building and spend time with you, but that's the hand that we've been dealt right now. Once you're there, also, with our flavor of Christianity, we're a Spirit-filled church and we believe in the gifts of the Spirit. We were not going to be able to come up on the platform, and use a microphone that somebody else has used. The worship team will have their own designated microphone that will be disinfected. We can't have microphones passing back and forth between people, and I hope you understand that at this time. That doesn't mean that we are, cutting out the gifts of the Spirit. We don't believe that. We're still going to have our prophetic basket. We did that for about a month before the quarantine even started. Having a place, if God speaks something, put that in there, because we want to document what God is speaking prophetically over our church. We affirm that, we believe it, and we want to hear that. Also, dismissal procedures. It will not be a mass exit, afterwards. we'll be utilizing all the exit doors in the sanctuary. And when we dismiss with a final prayer, you will be dismissed kind of like a wedding or a funeral, and you'll be assigned, this is your door, and this row go. And we ask that, it's not a time to, and this is one of the greatest strengths of our church, actually, and it always blesses me after church, people sticking around, and so that can't happen for the immediate time. And we ask that you understand that, and it kills us because that's such an integral part of who we are. But it's temporary and it will be progressive. There will be dismissal procedures for those that are there. You'll be given those after church, and we'll dismiss in a safe and socially distant, orderly fashion. Ministry time. It is our practice, oftentimes when God speaks to your heart or you respond to the word of the Lord or to the conviction of the Holy Spirit, to come to the altar. But at times we have also utilized just standing, and the people around you praying with you as we pray corporately as a church. That's going to be our ministry time strategy for the temporary future, that those with your seating party will pray with you. We want you to be able to respond. The Holy Spirit is going to convict hearts and move in our lives. And we are asking that that's the way that goes forward. There will be more things released, and we want you to know we are communicating what we know. I'm a firm believer in that. Even if you don't know anything, communicate that. I don't know anything. But we want you to know the most information you can so you can make an informed decision. Also, we realize, and I hope you do too, these plans will continually be fluid, and we will learn and we'll grow together. And it's my heart that we reconvene now. I've been seeking the Lord and I've been praying for peace, and I have the peace that now is the time. And if this is the path to get us back together, that's the path I want to take, because now is the time. I have the peace to do so. Before I close, I just want to share some things from my heart as your pastor that I personally will be doing. As pastor and leader of CFM, I'm going to temporarily alter the way that I do things. And I want you to know this is difficult for me as well. I don't do these things out of fear in any way, nor do I even do them for myself because it's what I think. The people in our church represent those that I love the most in the entire world. As I have often said, I would give my life for you gladly, and I hope you know that I genuinely mean that. And not only am I your shepherd, I love you, and you're the best friends and the best people and the best family that I've ever seen. But in the midst of this pandemic, I'm going to alter some of the things that I do for the safety of those that I love. I want you to know that I will be wearing a mask in the building at all times until I preach. When I preach and I'm on the stage, I'll take the mask off and I'll preach. And when I'm finished preaching, I'll put the mask back on. I know that's been a controversial thing, and it even is amongst some of our members, if you wear a mask or not. We're not going to get into the minutia of arguments of should we wear a mask or not. I'm telling you, I will. It's not out of fear, out of the virus, nor is it because I believe that a mask is some impenetrable defense. I'm simply wearing it because I understand that there are many vulnerable people in our congregation. And if that simple act helps them in any way, I'll gladly put my opinion aside and I'll wear it for their betterment. I think of people like Pastor Damien. We've all walked through what he's walked through with him this past couple of years. If that helps him in any way, I could care less what I think about a mask. If it helps him or Isaiah or Celeste, or if it helps Brother Parrish, he's in that age vulnerable with some pre-existing health conditions. If that keeps him safe in any way, I could care less if I think I should wear a mask or what the political powers that be tell me I should do. I love them enough that I'll put it aside and do it for them. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I invite you to join me with that. I will stay on the stage when I'm preaching. Most of you know this is a difficult thing for me. I like to walk, and I'm all over the place. I'm scatting and bebopping all over that sanctuary when I'm preaching. I want you to know I won't be doing that for the foreseeable future. And it's for two reasons. I like doing that because I like to be tangible. I don't like to be on a platform above the people. I like to walk with you because I'm one of you. I'm not anything more special than anybody else in that church is. But one that will enable me to continue to stay socially distant. And I will practice those things myself. But secondly, I want us to continue to offer the quality of online church that we have, knowing that that's a viable and important resource for so many of our congregation. It will help our cameraman, and if I stay stationary behind the pulpit, and pray for me because I'm going to need God's grace to do that. But I will be staying on the stage when I preach. Third thing I'll be doing, I will be giving grace and I'll be giving understanding to each person. I understand that engaging in my own opinions on anything in this issue of the pandemic will not be productive, and it will only lead to disunity. First of all, I want you to know I do have opinions about all of this stuff. I've not shared them because I want to keep Jesus in the middle. I'm not saying your opinion doesn't matter. I'm saying I'm personally making the decision to put my opinion aside and to keep Jesus in the center. And I ask that you understand that. If you engage me in conversation about that or the politics of this or the medical stuff of this or something you read on Facebook, I'm not going to respond to that, and I will not engage in those conversations. And I ask that you be understanding of such, because I am doing it to keep Jesus in the middle and as a simple act to seek unity over my own view. And the third thing I'll be doing is the fourth thing I'll be doing is I'll be doing my best to abide by all of these recommendations. I have always made it my policy and my practice. I won't ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. I think it's poor leadership to do that. I will lead the charge. I'll be the first one out of the boat. And the things that we're putting out there, I'm going to personally do. And I ask that you don't get offended at this. Many of you know I'm a very outwardly affectionate person. I'm a hugger, always have been. I want to shake your hands. I want to pat on you. I want to kiss on those jaws, as my dad would say, because I love you and I want to show you that I love you. But I won't be doing those things for the temporary future. I don't want you to think something's wrong. What's wrong with Richie? Boy, he sure was rude today. You'll be greeted with a smile and know that I'm glad to see you, but it's out of the abundance of caution for the betterment of the entirety of our church family in this time. And if that's the cost, once again, of us getting back together, that's okay. I will do that, and I will lead the charge in doing so. I'm excited about us reconvening together, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future. And I'm sorry for the length of this video, but it's very pertinent information that all of us need to hear as a church family. If you have any questions in any way, my door and my life continues as it always has been to be open to you. I am open. Reach out to me in any way with opinions, with thoughts, with suggestions. We've done the best that we can to seek the face of God and to put forth the most conservative policies we can, that we can reconvene safely together. And remember, it's not just about us. We have a lot of vulnerable people in our congregation. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to protect them. And I know that you are too. Guys, I mean what I said in the beginning. You're the best church on the planet. I could not be more proud and honored to serve as your pastor. It's an amazing responsibility, but it's an amazing privilege. I love you, and I gladly give my life for you, and I'm gladly going to alter how I do things because I love you. God bless you guys, and we will see you soon. Have a wonderful week.